If your guitar's fretboard is looking a little bit grimy or dull, or it feels a little bit sticky to play on, don't worry, it just needs a little bit of a clean. And I'm going to show you the best way that I've found to do it over the years to get my fretboard feeling nice and fresh. I've put links to everything that you need in the description down below. Now this guide is mostly for guitars with dark fretboards like this, so if you've got a maple fretboard or a finished fretboard, then listen closely and I'll point out what you need to do differently. First, remove your strings. Don't just loosen them and then move them off to the side, because all the grime that's on your fretboard is also on your strings, and when you play and when you sweat, it's just going to transfer straight back on and you're back to square one. Next, put some masking tape over the pickups. And this is just to stop any loose bits from the steel wool that we're going to use in a bit from sticking to the magnets or getting inside the pickups, which could possibly damage them. If you've got a finished fretboard, you don't have to do this because you're not going to use steel wool. Next, put some cleaner on the fretboard. You can use naphtha, which is actually lighter fluid, or a specialist fretboard cleaner like this, or even just a damp cloth with water, which I'd recommend if you've got a finished or a maple fretboard. But whatever you use, check that it's designed for use on guitar and specifically is safe for your fretboard type. Now, a really common cleaner, and the one that I've always used, is lemon oil. Now this isn't actually oil from a lemon or lemon juice or anything like that, because that would just damage your guitar's fretboard. This is lemon scented mineral oil, which is really good because it cleans the guitar, cleans the grime off, but it also hydrates the wood, and that's really important to stop it from drying out, which can cause cracking, or it can cause shrinkage, which can dislodge your actual metal fret wire. But it's really important that you don't use this on a maple fretboard. You also don't want to use a lot of it. A little really goes a long way, just enough to lightly cover each fret. If yours has an applicator like this, then you can put it straight on the fretboard, but if it's a spray bottle or something like that, I would spray it onto a clean cloth and then wipe it on. If you've got a lot of dirt buildup or your fretboard's looking quite dry, I'd say just leave it to sit on there for a couple of minutes to help break down the dirt and soak into the wood. Once the cleaner's been on for a bit, we're going to wipe down the fretboard using the steel wool, and we're going to follow the direction of the wood grain, otherwise you might get scratches. Again, if you've got a finished fretboard, you don't want to use steel wool because that's just going to scratch off the protective finish. Instead, just use a clean, lint-free cloth. Now you can take it one fret at a time if you've got a lot of buildup or if you want to give your guitar some extra care, and I do recommend that if this is your first time cleaning your fretboard. But I tend to do it in quite broad strokes because it's a little bit quicker and I clean my guitars fairly regularly so I don't get a lot of buildup in between cleans. Now, when I was first getting started, I used to do this with a credit card and scrape the grime off that way. And it does work, but I find that steel wool is better because it's quicker at lifting off the dirt, and you're also cleaning the wood and polishing the metal at the same time, so you're doing two things at once. It's a little bit quicker. Once you've done a few passes, check for any problem areas and then give them a spot clean. After this, I vacuum off my guitar and the surrounding area to remove any loose bits of steel wool. Once it's all clean, you can wipe the fretboard down with a clean cloth to remove any of the grime residue or excess oil. Then, a really handy tip is to put some extra masking tape on top of the masking tape that's already on the pickups, because what that will do is it sandwiches any loose bits of steel wool in place and it will stop them from falling off once you take off the tape from the pickups. Now, if you want a proper deep clean on your fretboard, what you can do is you can get a pin and then scrape it along the fret wire to remove any dirt underneath there. But if you're keeping up a regular cleaning routine, you shouldn't have too much buildup. But what we do want to do is polish our frets and get them to a nice shiny finish. So prep your fretboard by either taping either side of the fret wire or using something like a fret guard. We really want to protect the wood here because we're going to be using some more abrasive cleaners against the wood grain, and that can cause quite a lot of scratches. Now take your fret buffer or polisher and work it alongside the top and sides of the frets with just enough pressure to remove any stubborn dirt or grime or rust and leave a nice, smooth, shiny finish. Now, I use the Music Nomad fret finishing kit and I do recommend it because the tool has a little groove cut into it, which makes it really easy to hit all the sides of the frets, and you get different grades of polishing paper so you can buff it out to a nice shine. But I've also used the D'Addario polishing system in the past as well, and I think that's a decent choice if you're on a budget. Now, this isn't going to get rid of any dents or flat bits on your frets. That's called a fret dressing, and that's a much bigger job, but this will get them nice and clean and shiny. Now, you can use metal cleaner or polish as well, and I would recommend that if you're seeing signs of rust on your frets. But these frets are in quite good condition and they just need a light buff to brighten them up. Once you've buffed the fret, give it a wipe down with a clean cloth to remove any residue, and then give it a light scrape with your fingernail or a guitar pick just to make sure that it's nice and smooth and it's not catching or dragging anywhere. If it is, just give it another buff until it's nice and smooth. Once you've done every fret, check that there's no glue residue on your fretboard. If there is, just wipe it off. Then give it all the wipe down with a nice clean cloth, put on some new strings, and you're ready to go. Now, if you want to see how to give your guitar a full deep clean, I've got a video showing you how to do that right here. And if you want to learn more about guitar maintenance in general, I've got a playlist with plenty of videos on that as well. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Let me know how you got on in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.